In this lecture, I'll discuss about the structure and types of faults. This is the week 4, and this is very important for you to go through the topic. Inshallah, we'll complete all the topics very easily. Causes and effect of faulting. Most of the important faults are, as already pointed out, are due to tectonic causes or tectonic plate causes, but a few faults of a minor type are due to non-tectonic causes. Mainly, the compressive and the shear type of tectonic forces are responsible for the folding phenomenon. Igneous interaction of viscous magmas, such as electrolysis and something like, will be responsible for folding. Non-tectonic causes like landslides, scraping, differential compaction, isostatic setting, and glaciations are responsible for the same faults. These are minor in terms of frequency of occurrence and magnitude. Okay, and this is the actually common types of and causes and effects of faulting. You can get more information from Google about the causes and effects of faulting and the real example. Okay, faults. In geology, a fault is a planar fracture or discontinuity in a volume of rock across which there has been significant displacement as a result of rock mass movement. Large faults within the Earth's crust result from the action of plate tectonic forces, with the largest forming the boundaries between the plates, such as subconduction zones and transform zones. Energy release associated with rapid movements of active faults. Okay, is the cause of most earthquake. Faults may also displace slowly by seismic creep. Okay, if a fault plane is the plane that represents the fracture surface of a fault. A fault trace or fault line is a place where the fault can be seen or mapped on a surface. A fault trace is also the line commonly plotted on geological maps to represent a fault. A fault zone is a cluster of a parallel faults. However, the term is also used for the zone of crushed rock along a single fault. Prolonged motion along closely spaced faults can blur the distinction as the rock between the faults is converted to the fault bound landscape of rock and then progressively crossed. Okay. From civil engineering point of view, faults are the most unfavorable and desirable geological structure at the site for any given purpose. For location of reservoir as foundation site, for construction of dams, important bridges, or huge buildings, for tunneling, for laying roads, railways. You will get everything for you have to know about the fault information. See here the horizontal component, the vertical component here, and the horizontal component, footwall block and hanging wall block of fault traces. This is the fault plane and oblique moment. You see here the oblique moment here. You see here the sum moment. This is the normal and reverse celestial, dextral, normal celestial, rotational, and elliptical. Different types of fault, like faults. Faults also have been classified on the basis of different principal types of displacement along the plane, relative moment of footwall and hanging wall, types of slip involved, mode of occurrence of the faults. Types of displacement along the plane based on the principal faults are divisible into transitional fault and rotational faults. In this case, transitional faults are the types of displacement of the foot wall with a reference on the hanging wall is uniform along the fault plane. In case of the rotational fault, the displacement varies from place to place. Okay. Relative movement of the foot wall and the hanging wall. In this case, inclined faults, if the hanging wall goes down with reference to the foot wall, it is called normal fault or gravity fault. These terms are very appropriate because of the hanging wall is normally expected to move down along and the slope of the fault plane are under the influence of gravity. If the kind of replacement of the hanging wall is opposite to this, the fault is called reverse fault. Okay. Expected downward movement of the hanging wall under a such condition if the relative displacement of the hanging wall is neither upwards or downwards with reference to the inclined fault plane but sideward, then the such planes are described as celestial faults actually. Involved. Slip has been already described as the displacement along the fault plane. If the displacement is along the strike direction of the fault plane, such as fault is described as strike slip fault. On the other hand, if the fault displacement occurs partly along the strike direction of the fault plane, such fault plane is called the oblique slip fault. The strike slip fault and left lateral actually oblique. Okay, oblique slip fault. Horizontal component and the vertical component here and the oblique moment. This is the references, and this is actually your recommended textbook. You will find everything throughout this textbook. Furthermore, you can go through online site and get help more and more. Okay. Thanks a lot for completing this lesson and your cordial efforts. Thank you very much.